Yo, 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 yo.
Good evening. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Doing great.
Sir.
What'd you say, Mel?
I said, Kappa Fine, big brother, sir.
Hey man. Hey man, two things, man. One, I know you and Glenn are talking about me because I didn't get a chance to call y'all back. So I'm gonna take that L because I know y'all were dogging me on the voicemail. So I know
Yeah, I was about to say we talked about you on the voicemail. We didn't
Right.
have to talk about you behind your back. We just
Right.
left you voicemails about it.
Right. But I'm gonna be mushy now and welcome back our very own Total Gent because he was out last week and we missed his presence. So I just want to do the right thing and welcome my brother back home to his rightful place. We missed it last week, man. We know you're somewhere being brilliant and doing good, either being amazing professionally or being amazing as a dad. We know you were somewhere, Yeah, we gotta be lit up tonight, Jay. You lit?
Yeah, I had to go get mine. I think Jay had his on and you popped on with yours. So.
I keep mine on, I keep it inside, but
You know, my diamond shines in wherever I go. So
right, no matter how dark it is, Jay, I get it. Hey,
Y'all young noobs, I love it.
hey,
Spring 96, baby.
hey, of course, we got the Three Stooges. Jermaine, I have not had the pleasure of meeting, man. I'm so glad to be meeting you tonight. I heard while I was making my cocktail, I heard them talking about something that you were doing. I think it had to do with a cocktail. Did it? Yeah. So why don't we kick the introductions off right away, man, with because this is your first time on the show, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jay's been here and got on with us before, so why don't you introduce yourself, man, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you came to be on the show. And before you say that, Glenn, you look like you want to open us up in prayer. What's going on with your look, Doc? You're all clean shaven, and what's happening, man? Are you?
It's the holidays.
Announcements or something, or what?
When you get to me, I'm gonna announce. I got an announcement, of course, like I always do. But I shaved too. That's an announcement. Yeah.
Yeah, you look like you got a filter on. You look like you're in 8th grade or something. But Jermaine, come on, brother, talk to me, man. Tell us.
Oh, we gonna start already.
Tell us.
I'm tired, and we're not even 5 minutes in yet.
I know.
Wow.
Sean,
Shots flying from the gate.
I know, really.
Hey, Jermaine, but if you follow the show, I had to be careful. I can mess with Glenn. I had to be careful about Mel. Mel goes 0 to 60 on you. You ever see Damon Wayans special when he say, "Oh, that's what we doing"? That's why you ain't been hugged since you've been a baby, and your father left when you was 13 years old. And Mel will take it.
I am that guy.
Yeah, but Jermaine, I'm sorry, man. I interrupted you, man. Please tell us about yourself and how you came to be on the show.
Yeah. One, thank you guys for having me, man. I think it's always great when brothers like this get together and chop it up, But I run a company called Crew Love. We're a creative agency that's dedicated to blended wine and hip hop in all the most organic ways. We do that in a few different ways. One is by consulting and working with different wine brands. One of the brands that we're working with is Licata. It's a sparkling super Lambrusco created by Raekwon from Wu-Tang Clan. Boom, you can see the fly bottle right there, So you can see
Glenn he's a wine dude. He is in his element tonight. I'm sure. He is all in your energy.
This is family. This is family. This man introduced me to Licata. He's family.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but that's one of the ways that we blended wine and hip hop, with a dope product, with a legend like Raekwon. Aside from that, we got media projects. I got a dope podcast called Wine and Hip Hop. It's getting a lot of great notoriety right now. We recently had Dave East on the other night. But again, we're introducing wine to a demographic that's just ignored, but is really, really into wine. And it's like a budding wine community. And aside from that, we do events. Again, that Dave East situation that we did was an online event. But pre-corona, a lot of those events were actually in person. So getting to do like wine and hip hop activations like that was what we was about, what we are about. So right now that's what the whole thing is, bringing wine and hip hop together.
All right, well, I'm putting my bid in to DJ an event, bro. Already.
Tell me when.
I'm putting my bid in, so let me know. I've done events for Glenn before. Matter of fact, we had that boat cracking.
Yeah, the wine crawl boat party is legendary.
I want to, Jermaine, I want to circle back to some stuff, man, in regard to what you're doing, man, and talk to you a little bit about that infusion that seems to be happening, because we all know Snoop, is doing the wine thing. And so I want to swing back around, man, after we get all the introductions in and get your thoughts, man, on some of that. We know the hip hop cats have been doing scotch, for a minute. I don't think anybody has really claimed bourbon or whiskey from the hip hop community, which I'm surprised. But yeah, I like to peel that back a little bit more.
I think Drake has a bourbon, doesn't he?
He got a champagne.
No, I thought he had
No, J. Cole or somebody got one. No, I know what you're talking about.
Drake does have a bourbon.
A black label or something like that.
Yeah, Drake got a bourbon, bro.
Yeah, Drake does have a bourbon. It's like I forget the name of it, but it's like Virginia Brown or Virginia Black, something like that.
Right. I know it's got black in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We lost Jay. Oh, Jay said, let me back in. Roger, backstage. We were laughing because you said, let me back in. Hey, but you're right on time. You're right on time, Good Noob. It's time for your introduction, man. So we know that you're no stranger to the show. But for the people who maybe didn't catch the last episode you were on, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be on the show, what you do, all that good stuff.
Cool, no problem. I feel like I was stuck outside knocking on the door.
I've been there. I'm supposed to be the host, and I've been there, so trust me, I know.
It's all good. Yeah, I'm Jay, man. I have a company called Drinks on Me Catering. So basically, we do bar catering. So just like a regular caterer caters food, we cater bar service to different events, weddings, corporate events, whatever it may be. Right now, we're doing cocktail kits as well, where we send you home a craft cocktail, something like you would regularly get in an upscale restaurant or at a bar or something when you go out. But of course, during this time, we're not doing much of that gathering and going out to different places. So you can have craft cocktails sent directly to your home. Craft cocktail kits are on our website, drinksonmecatering.com. Doing this for over 10 years, man, doing events and having a ball with it, man. Can't wait till the world open back up so we can get to it a little bit more. But yeah, that's us. Drinks on Me Catering.
Good stuff, man. And you did the last time we did the show, man. We did the whole show. I never realized that you were in the bar, man. So I'm glad I get a chance to see you again, man. I didn't even know you were new. So that's good stuff. I'm gonna ask everybody that's watching us, and we will continue to do this throughout the show. But if you're tuning in right now, we're gonna ask that you do us a big favor and share the show on your Facebook page. We are earnestly trying to increase our audience and spread the love. People seem to be enjoying the show and enjoying the dialogue, and I think enjoying the revelation that Black men are not a monolith and that we do not all think alike, move alike, do not always agree. And so I think that that's been refreshing for a lot of the people that watch us on a regular basis, and that we can do it amicably. So if you're watching the show, please share the show. And I'm going to ask the production team right now. I know that they have. I saw one of the producers put Jay put your website in the chat. I'm going to ask them to put both yours and Jermaine's active websites up on the screen for people to write down and check in with you guys. So Glenn, I'm going to save Mel for last since we missed him last week. And I think you're on mute. So, or you did that on purpose because you was talking about me. Well, you never real slick when you're trying to, be slick. I saw you. I just saw you. And,
no, I was
Jermaine, he muted it and was like, I hate this dude. I really Anyway,
I was just writing down all the people that said something about my outfit, calling me a reverend and everything. I'm taking notes of that. I got Kennery, Yanni Brown, Pamela Borders. Y'all gonna be dealt with accordingly after this show. No, don't let the church outfit fool you.
You're thugging for the Lord. Is
Don't
what you're
send for
doing.
me.
You thugging for the Lord?
I did not send for y'all tonight, so we ain't doing that tonight. I ain't having it tonight.
He thugging for Jesus. Okay. For the people who don't know you, man.
Glenn Murray, co-producer of the show, head of G Rose Productions, and 220 Holdings, which includes Ryan Crawl and 220 Publishing. But tonight I have a special announcement. This is Glenn's gift giving guide tonight. So I have some gift suggestions. And when I say Glenn's gift giving guide, it means gifts you're going to give Glenn. Okay, it ain't for nobody else. That's what we're talking about. So
what kind of foolishness is this? What?
That's
right, Mel. I'm 100% with you, Doc. Just whatever.
East Stuyvesant Champagne. Great champagne. Shout out to Mel Roberson from the Planet Brooklyn. Great champagne. The Brut is wonderful. I'll accept any gifts from that. We already talked a little bit about Licata. Go ahead and get that bottle for me. You can minimum of 3, so I'll take 3. I'll accept 3. It's cool. I'm good with that. And then, California wine, sparkling, Etoile. Don't come bringing me any sparkling wine from Gallo or anybody like that. This is Chandon Etoile. This is all I'm going to accept. So I'm just letting you guys know. So if you were thinking, what can I buy a man that has probably a lot of stuff that I don't know what he has, that's what you can buy me. There you go. I'm done now. Mel, welcome back.
I'm gonna get him a bottle of Boone's Farm and put some Perrier in it.
Really?
That's gonna be his
really, Mel. Really.
Give him some Mad Dog 2020.
Mel, your Christmas gift. It's not too late to cancel that shipment. Don't play.
It's in the wind already, brother. It's in the wind already.
Mel, welcome back, man, and tell everybody who you are, man.
Man, I missed being on the show last week.
We missed you, man. We missed you.
I was able to tune in from time to time, though. But my name is Mel Roberson. I am now a 6-time Amazon best-selling author as of November 30th, 2020. Man, I had 2 best-selling books in 2020, dog. I'm like, wow. I'm also an actor. Now I can say recurring on Chicago PD. They brought my detective character back, so I'll be in season 8, Detective Cullen.
Do you have the air dates for those yet, Mel?
Nah, man. We still shooting season 8, so hopefully I get some more episodes. I'm a VP with Legal Shield. Anybody that needs any type of legal services for personal or business, I've been with them for a long time. I'm also one of the co-creators of 2 different coaching companies, one for personal development and accountability called the Ultimate Coaching Exchange, and the other one called the Quad Coaches, which is for small business owners and entrepreneurs. We help small businesses and entrepreneurs powerfully shift their mindset, master their money, leverage their teams, and stand out in the marketplace. So serial entrepreneur, artist, actor, poet, new spoken word album coming out first quarter of 2021. And I guess that's enough for today.
And I have to say, man, Mel invited me to one of the free sessions that they had, man, with the Quad Coaches, and it was great stuff, man. I took great notes, and there were powerful speakers and contributions, and it was certainly a worthwhile effort. And so I was very glad I did it. So I want to commend you, brother, on what you're doing and what your team is doing, and telling you it is a good and meaningful work. So you guys stay at it. I had the pleasure of knowing April and Tiffany already. I knew April real well, but Tiffany I had met before. You guys were all very powerful, man. All gave some very, very good stuff. If I'm writing and taking notes, then I know it's good stuff. So I just want to shout out the Quad Coaches, and the work that you guys are doing, man. I'm Shawn Mason. I'm the host. I don't really do a whole lot, but make y'all look at my face for radio. I'm sorry, Jamie, that got out. But yeah, I do a little writing, I do a little singing. I'm a photographer. EvanMarcusImagery.com. You can find my work. You can also find some of my music stuff by looking for me on YouTube. Just type in Mason Cover. You'll see about 8 quarantine concerts I've done since the pandemic hit. But just something I'm doing for fun. I'm not recording or trying to, get a record deal or anything like that anymore. I just do it for the love. So,
boy, you better stop speaking down your blessings, talking about what you're not trying to do.
As
If
good
that
as you
thing
can
come
sing,
open and wide open, bro, you better take it. Don't speak that.
yeah, y'all,
Don't speak that.
y'all as hard on me as Jamie Gill, but I know it's all in love. I know it's all in love. So hey, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about, man, and Jermaine, Jay knows this, but the hour goes remarkably fast. So we started talking, man. Next thing you know, you look up and we got 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
So let's jump in, man, really quick. And this was something, man, that and again, I don't expect, much like I said at the outset, I don't expect everybody to share my sentiment, man. But I was in the post office, man, yesterday, and this is something that I've struggled with long before yesterday. But the experience in the post office made me think, man, I want to submit this to the fellows and have us, dialogue about it a little bit, man. But I was in the post office, man, and a young lady. This is the cave, right? I can say it how I want to say it, right? Mm-hmm. This is the cave, man. I'm in the post office, man. Young lady has on a shirt, a mask that says "Niggas Matter," and I was just done, man. I didn't know where. I was. A part of me was hurt and heartbroken, and a part of me was angry, because I'm standing around with all these others, in the post office, and I'm watching her engage others with a mask on that says "Niggas Matter," and it made me think, man, about how I personally think, man, that when you take something as serious as Black Lives Matter, and then you dilute it with other messages, I think that you lessen the seriousness of that message by trying to use it as a piggyback or a launch for other causes. I was in Hyde Park this summer, man, and the lady is walking with Nurses Lives Matter. And I get it. I agree. However, when somebody, and I'm just going to say it how I'm going to say it, when somebody not of our hue does it, I almost feel like it's mocking. Because the first one that came out was Blue Lives Matter. Yeah. That was the first response to Black Lives Matter. And that was an intentional mocking, right? And so now when I see it, especially if it's not from us, it feels like a mocking. And so, and I got friends, one of my good little sisters, I did a photo shoot for her a couple of weeks ago, and she's in education, has a big mentoring thing with teens. And she had on some paraphernalia that said "Teen Lives Matter." I love her dearly. I wasn't getting ready to engage her and challenge her, about how that dilutes the message. But somebody that knows me saw one of the pictures and was like, "Ooh, I bet you didn't like that T-shirt," because they know that I have an issue with that. But I like your thoughts, man, on it. Not just the diluting piece, but the bastardization of it, in my opinion, like the young lady had with the "Niggas Matter." And Jermaine, since you're your first time on, man, let me hear from you first, man, because it goes fast. I want to make sure the world gets to hear you.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, and that's just, it's sad that someone would do something like that. It's just, we in a time where people just kind of care about shock value. They just want to be shocking and be seen. But like you mentioned, that doesn't just dilute the message, that actually hurts the message. And it's a Black woman that had that mask on. Like, you almost mocking yourself, and don't get me wrong. Like, I don't got no issue with the N-word and the N-word being used. It's all about context and how it's used. Like, I'm a big hip hop guy. So obviously, that's a conversation within it, but that's not how you use it. Like, that's mocking. That, in my opinion, I just think it's a bad look all around.
I really felt that, man. Jay, what do you think about it, man?
It's weird with just, all across the board for my people, because I've even heard people saying, they refuse to say the words Black Lives Matter, so they would come back and say all lives matter.
Which to me, again, is a mocking
Yep.
Definitely.
That's mocking verbiage. We already know all lives matter. We have to say Black Lives Matter because you're not treating them like they matter.
Exactly, and I think it definitely devalues the movement itself in a sense. But it Black Lives Matter didn't just come about just because of the most recent activities that just happened, or has been happening. We've been trying to get people to understand that Black lives should matter for centuries now, for for a long time now. So it's not just recent activities for that. And I also think with just using that word, just the N word, with that, I'm kind of on the fence with the N word myself, and I've been guilty of using it also. But I don't know if she was trying to be funny, in that sense, saying the niggas matter too, or does she feel like she's a nigga? Like we have those individuals as well that like Chris Rock said, there's a difference between black people, and niggas. Fee, 5, 4, what do you say, figure? Boy, I hate it. Yeah. So it definitely devalues the movement and the title and the name of and the image of the movement. I don't want to say it's going to devalue the movement itself, but maybe just the image of it.
Well, I think it devalues the power of that phrase.
Yeah.
That phrase specifically. When I first heard it, I felt like it was an attack on the movement. But I think, of course, the movement is bigger than that. But I think the phrasing and the significance of the phrasing, that's been under attack since it was first introduced.
Yeah.
So I'm used to other people attacking it. I'm okay with that because I already know where you stand. But when we are attacking it ourselves, and giving those that would even more ammunition to take it less seriously, it's hurtful. It's
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's kind of where I'm going with it, because we kind of, it's upsetting, but we do this to ourselves every time.
Yeah.
Even with the word nigga, like it was the most derogatory name you could call an African American person, when it was thrown out back in those days. But now we found a way to make it cool to say the word nigga in music and in culture and this, that, and the other. So we've gotten so desensitized to that word. Now here comes Black Lives Matter, and we're doing the same thing with that again.
Yeah.
So,
I think we can lose track with trying to de-weaponize something. It's the same way women do the B word. They toss bitch around, playfully and among their friends. Now, if you call a woman a bitch, her brothers and uncles and all them, they coming for you. But they can use it freely. And I think that the N word became like that for us in a sense that, you take the power away from it when you do that. But you only take the hurt away from it that we hear. When somebody says it with ill intent, you still feel that hurt. You feel that malice. You know what I'm saying? So you're not really taking the power from it. Go ahead, Mel.
I think there are a couple of things at stake here. To a certain degree or extent, a lot of us, I won't say we all, but a lot of us have things that are no-goes for us. As far as names are concerned. Like I have a couple of nicknames from when I was a kid that if you didn't grow up with me, you don't get to call me that. You know what I mean? As far as my full name, like nobody calls me by my full name. I go by Mel. I had to tell a guy at a conference, like, yeah, you keep saying it, I'm gonna punch you in your throat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have the right to call me that. People have a right to be called what they want to be called. So I think to a certain degree or extent, there are a lot of us that have things that set us off, so to speak. Kind of like the Will Smith movie. Which one was it? Where he was a superhero.
Hancock.
Like Hancock. It's like, there's certain things you just can't say.
That again, yeah. Hey, the droopy thing used to get fights in college, boy. You call me droopy in college, they had to hold me off your ass, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, the young folks would say it's a trigger.
Right. But words have the power that we give to them.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? Regardless of the intent of other people.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to mention is my youngest daughter and I read a book called Warriors Don't Cry, and it was about the integration of schools in Arkansas, the Little Rock Nine, and
Are you
them
saying
going,
warriors or warriors?
Warriors Don't Cry.
WA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Warriors. Yeah, like the Little Rock Nine going to school. And when she talks about what it was like to be the first Black person entering this school and how penetrating that word was, you know, and being spat on and having to be walked into the school by the National Guard and all of that other stuff, even in like it got to the point where I was listening to music and I was just like, I just kind of gotta, oh, you know what I mean? So I've since pulled the word from my vocabulary, and our white friends is like, man, I don't get it. You know, it's in all of you all's music. Not that I'm trying to use it, but it's in your music, and we hear it all the time, and you guys say it amongst each other. Why do you get so mad when somebody outside of your race says it? And I was like, it's because of what your forefathers meant when they said it. You know what I mean?
Intention is everything.
Yeah. So it doesn't bother me as much anymore as it used to. You know, when I was in college,
I still can't stomach somebody white saying it.
yeah, and I'm not looking forward to it. You know what I mean? But I'm not jumping across the table like I did when I was 19 years old and it happened. You know what I mean? It's just different at this point. It's like, all right, so now I need to dismantle you intellectually.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You've shown yourself, and I need to deal with you based on who you've shown me that you are. Hey man, I still remember the first time I was ever called that. I was on my way to Evergreen Plaza. I was in my family's ninth. Well, I won't say what year the car was, but I was in my family's little Ford Maverick, and a carload of white kids were next to me at a red light. And when the light turned green, I can still see this boy's face. He shouted "nigger" at me, and they pulled off. And I was so angry that I followed them and chased them. And you know they got away and whatever. And I went to the plaza to do what I was going to do. Came back, told my big brother about it, and he said, "So what was you going to do if you caught him? Like it's a carload of white kids. What you going to do? You know, you was outnumbered. You know, what you going to do?" And so I learned then to try to manage it differently. But I tell you what I found to be hurtful is that I don't have children, but I remember looking at both my niece and nephew. My niece is about to be 26, and my nephew is about to be 23. Both birthdays in January, and I remember looking at them as little kids and thinking about what they did not know yet about race and what that introduction was going to be for them. Whether the introduction of it was going to be a slow walk thing, you know, that allowed them to process it a little bit, or whether it was going to involve some shock and hurt and trauma. And both of them went to Whitney Young, which was a very integrated school, so they didn't have the same kind of upbringing I had. But my nephew was in maybe his second or third year in college at DePaul in Indiana, Mike Pence's Indiana, and he's walking with some of his white buddies, and a car drives by and shouts "nigger," you know, at him. And his dad, my brother, was at a football game with a family friend, and I had never seen my nephew this angry. You know, like at that age, I was still the uncle that if you're going to say a curse word, you issue all these disclaimers first because you want to be respectful. Dude, he called me cussing, and I knew it wasn't his first time using these words. He was too good. But he was so angry, man, and I remember being so hurt for him, you know, because I knew that the world was going to do this to him at some point, you know, and I could only hope that he was prepared when it happened. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, it's the world we live in. Yeah, it's the world we live in.
Side note, Eminem's new album. Y'all heard it yet?
White chocolate, white chocolate side note.
Yeah, man. Music to Murder by Side B, the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
He has a song on here called Nat, GNAT. Bruh.
Yeah. Going in, huh?
Hey man,
on this album, man.
Him has always been one of my favorites, man. Always one of my favorites, man.
Yeah. Look, so let's shift gears for a second. Yo, Raj, throw my picture up for me, please, bro, if you could. So I was having a conversation with a young lady the other day, and there's this move. I won't say it's a movement, but like the conversation among our communities, as far as therapy is concerned, there are so many women that are finding that super attractive, that men are willing to take care of themselves. Now, the thing is, like, I'm just a take care of myself type person. So I didn't, and I go to therapy now. And there have been times in the past I've gone to therapy, but it was interesting to hear the dialogue that, oh girl, he in therapy. like that was a checklist item. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't broken.
Therapy is the new good credit.
Man, I thought it was amazing.
I mean, how much you got?
You know what I'm saying? Something that I do regularly. I was like, yeah, every Tuesday at 4:00. Ooh, Andy.
Here's my number.
Right.
I think, man, the era with which we live in dictates so much. I had 2 shoots today. Shout out to the people I worked with today, creating some beautiful images. But one of the cats I shot, he's a Q, and it was his 50th birthday, and we were doing a shoot for his 50th birthday. And we were talking about the fact that I lost my mom a day after her 55th birthday. And if I looked back on physically how my mom presented at 55, it would be equivalent to 65 or 70 now. You know what I'm saying? And so to Mel's point, I think that era often, the era that you're in drives the culture. And so just like now, those 55-year-olds back then, they weren't as health conscious, they weren't as educated about nutrition, those kind of things that make a different 55-year-old. I think now we are able to shake off some of the stigma that's associated with some of those things that are really about our empowerment and our health. I never forget, man, I was about 23, 24 years old, man. One of the first jobs I had was driving a shuttle van for a hospital. And I had to pick up a physician who was interviewing to be on staff of the hospital. And he was a very transparent dude, man. It was a whole thing you see when you stand in the airport with somebody's name, waiting for them to see it. He gets in, man, real cool guy, gets in the back of the van, and we just start talking. And he very quickly opens up about his mental health challenges. And he tells me we live in a world where if you have a broken arm or a broken leg, you can go to the doctor and get it taken care of. But if there's something broken about the way you think and you go to get it taken care of, people label you crazy and decide that you're somebody that they can't deal with. And I never forgot that, man. And I always remember that there is a sensitivity that needs to be attached to anything mental health. Now, the trick is, you got to really be trying to help yourself. I got a friend now that's been in a long relationship with somebody who clearly needs therapy. And he will go and use it as a pacifier to maintain the relationship. And then a month later, he's back doing all the things that he said he was going to stop doing based on what therapy, said. So.
But that's a good point, Shawn. I think therapy is something you need to do by yourself first.
Because yourself, certainly.
And for yourself, because you need to understand who you are first. Because if you go to therapy for a relationship, which, I can neither confirm nor deny I've done that. But a lot of times therapy is suggested by the woman to kind of justify the behavior she's been saying you've been doing for so long. So she wants the therapist to take her side. When the therapist that's not the therapist's job. The therapist is to listen, to ask questions, to absorb, to make suggestions, but not to say, yeah, you're wrong, Glenn, she's right. But that's what a lot of people go for. They look for therapists to become referees.
Well, even Michelle Obama said that. She said they went to therapy, and in her mind, they were going to therapy so he could fix Barack.
So yeah, so you can straighten him out, right?
Yeah, but not realizing that, you know, the therapist is going to be neutral, but he's also going to make you own your stuff. And if you've been to couples therapy, which I have, I think that it is and unashamedly so, Glenn. I think it's really cool the way they do it. I remember when I went, I had to listen. I had to accompany her, but I couldn't contribute. I had to sit in on a session that was solely about her. And the next session was solely about me, and she had to sit in on it and listen. And I learned more in that session that was about her than I did in the 4 or 5 years we had been in that relationship that we were trying to save.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is when I came out of it, I was like, oh, this is good. I'm learning stuff. And she was pissed off. And I'm like, well, why are you pissed off? Well, it's not getting anywhere from me. I'm like, because that's not telling you what you wanted to hear. You wanted to hear that I was wrong and that I needed some corrective action. And you wanted the therapist to give me that corrective action. And that's not what it was about. I was getting stuff from it and she wasn't. So that was a good sign on where.
Well, that's just like somebody that asks you a question and they already got the answer in mind.
They already got the answer, yeah.
If you don't give them the answer they're looking for, then it's whatever you do reply with is invalid, you know.
Right. Case in point. Jay, you were gonna say something?
Man, I can go the whole hour on this topic right here. But, I've been there on both ends from the, individual therapy and in couples therapy. The thing is, man, is, sometimes, like you said, you got to be willing to help yourself, right? Some people don't know something wrong with them. They think everything that they knew is right, so there's definitely something wrong with you. It's not me, So in those couples therapy type situations or just individual therapy, man, just to have a sounding board sometimes. That's something I had to learn, just to have a sounding board to let some things out and talk to somebody about whatever, a non-biased opinion or whatever the case is. Very healthy, just to get that out. I never really, looked at it as that. And especially amongst, us and our people, you think, going to I don't need no shrink. Nobody says you're going to a shrink or any of that, it's therapy, conversation and that. It's all in how you perceive it, all in how you look at it, but it's definitely helpful. Yeah. But I was thinking on what Mel was saying that, women are attracted to it. Man, he's going to therapy or whatever the case. I want to know how many women are going to therapy because I see some issues on, on their end as well, from self-shaming and a lot of different things, so yeah, I think everybody should,
I think the point of the conversation was historically, I think women have been more open to it than men, especially Black women have been more open to it than men. I think it's just a recent phenomenon for the most part that more brothers are saying it's okay for me to go to therapy. I don't think they were saying, "Ooh, girl, he going to therapy, he's a catch," and we're perfect. And now finally they're catching up to us. That wasn't the conversation we were having. It was more so that we're not playing hard or, taking what society says about us at face value and not working through our issues. But to your point, there are plenty of women that could benefit from it as well.
Definitely. I agree that they do more, speaking about their emotions and their feelings and things, but I don't know, and I would really like to know how many other women actually go to a therapist, a non-biased person, because we're in the cave, right? We're talking about it.
Check in, ladies. Check in for Jay, ladies. If you have a therapist, put it in the chat, and you're not ashamed of it. Put it in.
And we're not talking about your girlfriend. We ain't talking about your mama that'll sit and listen to all your problems, all your things. Your girlfriend, you married, talking to your single girlfriend about what's going on in your house. That's not your therapist. That's not the person. So I'd be interested to know that.
Jermaine, you got any thoughts about it, brother?
I do, man. To the original point, I think that it's smart to deal. I would want to deal with a woman that I know is also taking therapy seriously because, you want to make sure that you with someone that's checking in, taking care of themselves. because it's only going to become your problem later. And I think that's where the attraction to people that are into therapy comes from. It's like, it's going to become your problem. So seeing that someone is taking a proactive stance on, you know, addressing whatever they might be dealing with, it just makes sense.
Yeah. I've always thought, man, especially when it came to couples therapy, and especially if the relationship is advanced enough that it's a married couple, I've always felt for the person who's with somebody who's resistant to therapy, because you're then saying that the relationship is not worth you exhausting all efforts to save it. And so the time when I went, we weren't even married. I just was willing to do whatever we needed to do to try to save the relationship. And ultimately, I think I think our first session revealed to me that the relationship couldn't be saved. But I was also grateful for that, because I wasn't willing to accept that reality yet. And
that's another benefit of therapy.
Absolutely, dude. I realized in her session, man, that I was unknowingly in competition with her dad and grandfather, and older guys that had doted on her entire life and had made their lives about her happiness.
Yeah,
that was what and I said, oh man, I'm in over my head. I'm never gonna compete with your granddaddy who made you breakfast every morning and walked you to the bus stop all the way up to your senior year in high school.
Walked her to school, uphill, both ways, barefoot in the snow.
Barefoot. In the winter.
Y'all are stupid. Was
that a you problem? Was that a you problem, or was that a her problem?
I know.
I'm sorry, Glenn.
I want to give my dad props, because he was the first person to help me to say, go see a therapist. Go, if you've got problems, there are problems that I can't help you with, your mother can't help you with, that you need to go and see a therapist. There's nothing wrong with it. He was very out front about it not being anything wrong with it. So he really cleared that path and made it okay for me in a lot of ways to be able to do that and get help whenever I needed it.
I'm not seeing one currently, but I'm 100% open to it. And as soon as I locate a solid one, I will probably make it a regular thing. I just haven't actively been looking.
I'll give you mine. He's a brother. I'll give you mine. Not a nuke, but
I like that. I like that.
I got you one, bro.
If you survive through 2020, you might need to talk to somebody at some point.
Yeah, man, because I think that's a very great point, man, because I was telling somebody that I thought that I was handling 2020 well. I was watching other people, bitching about the interaction and how it was driving them crazy. They wanted to go out to the club or go out to have a drink, and I was more than content to stay at home. And I'm thinking, man, y'all tripping. It ain't bothering me. And then I realized that it had lulled me in some other places.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hell, I'm scared I'm not going to ever want to come back outside. You know what I'm saying? It's like it affects you ways that you don't necessarily think about.
Yeah, it does. You kind of don't want to go back outside some days. You think about it.
Yeah, before the show gets too far gone, because we're already at 9:44. Glenn, you want to explain to us what the hell is going on with your face?
I shaved, Shawn. That's what happens.
Yeah, there we go.
I was trying not to look as young, so much younger than you and Mel. But the truth comes out sometimes. I'm sorry.
Right.
Somebody had to help ratings.
You didn't have to shave to look younger than me. I'm the elder statesman every week.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Maybe you and Mel can compete.
Well, Mel's getting grayer and grayer by the day. I take care of it.
Do you really want to do this in public, Glenn Murray?
Mel?
And I've had a week of rest.
FedEx. I can cancel that FedEx shipment. I got an account.
Hey Mel, I got my gift. I got my gift. It's worth giving him a pass until you get the gift.
All right.
Yeah.
It's always next week, though.
Yeah, I bookmark it and tear his ass up next week.
It's always next week.
Mel, I didn't send for you, Mel. I did not send for you.
You just sent for me, bro.
That. No.
You just sent for me.
Shawn started it, and you're with him. It's like being in the car when a car is stolen. Both of y'all go to jail. You was in the car with Shawn about this outfit thing. Y'all both said something.
Hey,
Hillary, Jamie,
Hey,
Yanni,
man.
I
Yeah,
saw
my
all
grade
your
is
little
excellent.
comments in the thing. I'm gonna remember all of y'all. Yanni, you need a season 2 of your show. Okay,
Hey,
so
man,
y'all think about what we say.
your chaplain outfit wasn't on my radar. It was
Really, chaplain outfit. Really, shot.
bald face. It was
Really,
bald face.
I just encouraged you about singing, and you just
Now
don't
look,
to me like that.
look, real quick. Andrea Wright. I don't know if she pronounced it Andrea. Andrea, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She just mentioned that she was available for counseling. Here's a question for you guys. Does the gender of your counselor matter to you?
I've been to both.
Yeah, me too.
I've been to both. I think the perspectives of both have been important. I have two really, really good friends that I wish I could go to. One of them is Titani Harris. She's been on the show before. She hosts the TMH Man Cave. That's a mental health session, but she has a practice. And then another good friend of mine is Dr. Tiffany Bellamy, who has a practice. And they're both amazing, but because of us being friends, they just can't take me as clients. But I've referred people that they don't know to them that have come back and thanked me like big time for both of them as therapists. So, and these are men and women. I think for me personally, I don't think it matters per se. My therapist right now is his name is Orlando, good brother, really, really good brother. And that's good for what I need. But there also have been times I've been in therapy with female therapists that they've offered me a perspective that maybe a man wouldn't be able to offer. You know what I mean? So I think they can be pros and cons to both.
Yeah, I think I like talking to females because usually your problems are related with some woman. They start with some woman, so it's always good
Your
to get a woman's
problems, man.
perspective.
Why did Kennery just put in the thread all genders matter?
Oh no, he did. Oh my goodness.
So there was a time when I was right now I'm very happy with my primary care physician. He's a Latina male, a few years older than me, super cool dude. When I go to see him, we have to get to the health part because I come in and we just shoot the shit for the first 30 minutes, man, and we talk about some of everything under the sun. But I remember there was a time, man, when I was looking for a primary care physician, and I was dogged about them being an African American male, in my age group. I just felt like they would understand a bit more about, what life was like for me physically, mentally, emotionally. And then I ended up, man, with a young white chick on a like a just a weird kind of situation. And I dug her. And I was like, shit, all right, I'm gonna keep her. And then she got married and had to move out of state. And that's how I ended up. So a lot of times, we create those issues in our own minds. And if we give someone a chance, they have the ability to negate what our concerns and our fears are. It's just like when I'm doing boudoir photography and I know that the woman is very aware of the fact that, this is a man who could be enjoying her, taking her picture. And so I very intentionally, the first 15 minutes of the shoot are me making sure she understands I'm a professional and that I'm not going to let my loins impede my artistry, And so by the time we get to 15, 20 minutes, she's good with me, I'm good with her, and we can make some stuff happen. But I think we create those barriers, ourselves, man, based on what makes us feel comfortable, not knowing that sometimes that's when we really need to push ourselves, and see what else is out there, for us. So good stuff, gentlemen, on the on the therapy thing. And Miss Wright, put your inbox me your information, and maybe I will be a client of yours. You just never know. Mel, you had some stuff on your mind to talk about. I'd love to know what it was.
Well, that was one of them was the therapy one, but we only got 10 minutes left, and this hip hop Mount Rushmore might take up a whole 10 minutes.
Oh, we got a hip hop Mount Rushmore going. Okay.
Hip hop Mount Rushmore. So this is a question I thought of that I thought would be good, and I've heard this debated on some radio shows and everything. So Mount Rushmore, 4 presidents. You had a hip hop Mount Rushmore. Whose faces would go on that stone? Who are the 4 acts? And it could be a group. A group could be counted as one act. Who would your 4 be?
Ooh, that's tough.
I know.
That's tough.
Oh, man, that's
So
Whoever wants to start, let's get it on. Let's get this discussion going because I think it's going to be some debate here.
right.
You know it's gonna be some debate.
I know.
So for me,
Wait a minute, Sean's got to go run to the refrigerator to get his
refrigerator and get his 4 off the list.
Got you. Don't play with Sean. That was
So
a
Jermaine,
That was
we
good.
do this thing where we do these playlists all the time, but Sean has his 25 favorite songs of all times written on a piece of paper with a magnet on his refrigerator that he uses as his musical encyclopedia happens to be hanging where he gets his Jello pudding pops. So
and his ice cubes. Yes.
all right, so the hip hop Mount Rushmore. For me, I gotta throw Jay-Z on there. I'm a Jay fan. I'm an unapologetic Jay fan. People that say, he bite Biggie rhymes and he wouldn't be nothing without Big and all of that. Listen, I can't help the fact that Big and Pac got killed. Who knows what would have happened had they been alive? We can make that argument till we blue in the face. What I do know is that this man puts out platinum albums, that he's a phenomenal businessman, and the evolution of Jay from Reasonable Doubts to 444. If you listen to those albums in sequential order and the evolution of Jay and what he talks about now, man, I rock with Jay. He's not a businessman. He's a
businessman. Exactly.
Jay gotta be on there, right?
Hey, from the first note of Can't Knock the Hustle all the way up, I have been down with Jay. So I totally agree with you.
That's my man's in them. Black Thought from the Roots.
Good selection.
Slept on. Black Thought is one of the coldest MCs in the history of mankind.
Without question.
Of mankind. That's my man. Right? So, and I got a funny story about me hanging out with Questlove in New Orleans, but that's a whole nother you dig. So Jay and Black Thought, I love Black Thought. I love everything the Roots ever put out. These last couple of solo albums that Black Thought has put out,
crazy.
Amazing. My third on Mount Rushmore, even though the catalog ain't that long right now, I'm putting Rhapsody on there for the female representation. Rhapsody is one of the coldest female lyricists I've ever heard in my entire life.
Did you hear what Rhapsody did on that Busta Rhymes album?
Oh my God.
Yo, I dropped a tear, son. That was too real.
Didn't I force you to put her on a list twice 1 week?
You did. Yeah. But I've been rocking with Rhapsody. If I ever got to meet her face to face, dog, I'm an actor. I've been around famous people for a while. If I meet Rhapsody, I don't know how I'm gonna be. I just don't know how I'm gonna be if I meet Rhapsody.
You're gonna be on some fanboy, huh?
I'm a fan of lyricism, man. And I don't know of a female MC that from the beginning of time to now, and I love Lauren. I think Lauren is a dope.
She's fierce.
Yeah, but Rhapsody is like Erykah Badu mixed with Lauryn Hill mixed with Talib Kweli. If all of them had a threesome and had a baby, it would be Rhapsody. You know what I'm saying? She's ridiculous from her energy to everything. So those are my three.
All right.
I thought
the fourth one is always the hardest. The fourth one is always the hardest. That means you're cutting somebody out.
It was a toss-up. It was a toss-up for me between KRS-One and Rakim. Right?
Oh,
it was a toss-up. It was a toss-up. But for the sake of the culture and just the impact on my life personally, I got to go with Rakim the God.
All right.
I just got to, man. For what he did for hip hop and for everybody to be like, yeah, man. So those are my four. That's my Mount Rushmore. I would get it tattooed on my arm if I had room left, but I'm running out of real estate as far as tattoos.
All right, who wants to go next?
I go.
Uh-oh.
I go. So I really, man, got to hip hop later than normal because I was such a hardcore R&B dude, with my music involvement and all of that. My man says I like belly rubbing music. So I was kind of late to the.
Your name is just the crooner on Instagram, so
Right.
of course you like belly rubbing.
I used to have a license plate on my Acura back in the day that said crooner. I still have those plates. So Rakim and those cats, man, were more folklore for me. I heard their tracks, but I wasn't in the culture enough for them to impact me personally. When I finally decided to pick up hip hop, and so I'm always one man who is sensitive to what you do culturally, what your impact is culturally. So I'm gonna make my most controversial pick, my first pick, just to get it out the way. Dude, I'm putting Will Smith on Mount Rushmore.
All right, who going next?
Yeah, really. Thank you very much.
I'm putting Will unapologetically on my Mount Rushmore.
We'd like to thank Shawn and wish him well in his future endeavors.
So
we're gonna get his flowers. We're gonna get his flowers.
And look, and I ain't
all right, go on.
Y'all ain't punking me. I don't care. So then next of course, Jay for me all day. He just superhuman, and then I've seen him live, dude, and it was just
me too, 4 times.
Yeah, I just walked out, dude, like a zombie. Like, wow, like really, dude. And he's a dude, man. Again, he's just not a Will type, but his impact overall on culture, on mindset, on what you realize you can do with your mind and your determination, it's the same category that I put Will in. So it's not necessarily about your skill. It's about what you made people realize hip hop could be the birthplace of. So Jay is my second. Pac is my man. I have to go with Pac on my Mount Rushmore. And then Black Thought. I think Black Thought is the most raw, gifted MC damn near ever. He's an amazing dude to me.
You catch up to Black Thought lines like 3 or 4 bars down.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. I know you've seen him on the Breakfast Club when him and Meth was going freestyle, right?
Yeah,
dude, yeah. That changed my life, dude.
Yeah.
Watching the dude on the Breakfast Club that day, I was like, this dude is out of this world. He's something totally.
Yo, when he did that Funk Master Flex freestyle and he rapped for like 10 minutes straight. And like you've seen people on it, they got the phone, and then like from knowing some stuff, I know sometimes they do it in a couple of different takes. This dude was just sitting there with nothing and just going. How do you remember that for 10 minutes?
Dude, he was killing.
It was scary.
He was rapping with Meth that day, and I think Meth's shit was written down.
Yeah, Meth had to bring his phone back. He's like,
right.
You ain't gonna roast your hair like this.
Look, man, and Thought was just pop, 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 pop. I was like,
it was scary. His delivery, everything, bro. Like, absolutely. Yeah, so my joint real quick. I gotta go Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas. Like I have to. Like we haven't mentioned Nas, and when we talk about,
I never got with Nas. I don't know. I just
really.
Nas has some lyrics. Nas has some fierce lyrics. You have to listen to Nas, and sometimes you have to go back and listen to like early Nas to really know how good
for me,
he
there
was.
has to be a uniqueness in your voice and your cadence for me to be drawn to you. And I never felt anything unique. His lyrics might be crazy, but his cadence and his voice.
His cadence and voice and delivery help make Nas who he is.
I'm saying for me, dude, I never felt it. I never felt it.
Let's let Jermaine finish. Go ahead, Jermaine.
Yeah, Nas was legendary before he ever dropped an album. That's how good Nas was. I knew about Nas for a good 4 to 5 years before he ever dropped his first album.
Mm-hmm. Jermaine, go ahead and finish, bro.
Go ahead, Jermaine.
But yeah, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, the pillars. We talked about Jay already. Big, I mean, he's notorious B.I.G., man. He drove Jay-Z. Every time, Jay-Z is the greatest rapper of all time. Of course, it's debatable, but I think he's the greatest. But every time Jay got on the track with Big served him every single time. I don't understand how, but overall I think Jay is a better rapper than Biggie, but Big served him every time he got on the track together. And
he may have been intimidated. He may have been intimidated, you know.
Yeah. And then I gotta put Black Thought in there as well. It's just crazy to hear, you know, him get his flowers like this because nobody ever gives him his props. And before we was even thinking, he was on my list, man. So it was good to hear we in good company.
Yes, no doubt.
Who's left? Mel,
Jay, that.
Yeah, I didn't go. Yeah, I didn't go next. Yeah, that was 3 of mine. Biggie, J, Nas, of course. Well, I'm gonna go on my 4th. I'm gonna say 3 Stacks, man. 3,000, Andre 3000.
Okay.
He came up. Okay. Came up in the chat too.
Yeah. 3,000 was dope to me, man. You know, metaphorically the whole 9, different styles, man. He came with it, man. So
his uniqueness, man. His uniqueness just made him special, man. And he seemed like he wasn't intimidated in a way that made him want to be like everybody else was being. You know, he was brave enough to come at that thing from a totally different way, you know, and I dug that. I always dug that about him.
Yeah, him and Big Boy, they stepped way outside the box on a lot of different, songs, a lot of different projects or whatever the case, man. But regardless, man, even if he was, you know, featured on somebody's stuff or whatever case, that verse was going to be hot. It was going to be cold. You know
we know who is the hottest and all of that, right? But who do you think is the most gifted, uniquely gifted? Like I see Dre as uniquely gifted.
Oh, between the two?
Just period. Just when you look at them and you look at just their gifts. Like some people, it's almost like, you know, it's like a singer. You know, some singers are trained, some singers are just gifted. It's just something special. Yeah. It's supernatural, you know.
You speaking between Big Boy and 3,000?
No,
Jay-Z was my
top. Yeah, I would say Jay.
Yeah, Jay. Across the board.
But behind
Jay-Z.
him, I would put somebody like Dre. He's too unique and different. You know,
man, he did his own thing, man.
Regardless, made you love it. Unique and gifted and lyrically, from a gifted standpoint, I would have to throw Mos Def in that category too, dog. Because most and Talib for that matter, dog. Like both of them.
Yeah, that Black Star movement was.
Yeah.
Black Star was dope. I don't even want to leave Common out. I'm a Common fan, man, but
I am too. Yeah.
I'm a Common fan, lyrically.
All right, so that was your 4. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So my 4, 3 of them are easy. The 4th one is really controversial, so I know y'all gonna come at me about this, but I got reasoning behind it. So I got my argument.
I had reasoning too. It didn't help me. They tried to.
But my reasoning is different because my reasoning is I looked at who influenced the business and the culture and the whole genre. And I looked at it like that. So Jay-Z, my number 1, without a doubt. Always been my favorite from day one. Biggie, because he never dropped a whack line. Nothing he ever did was whack. You listen to every Biggie song and you can pull something out there and go, wow. Like, that's gifted. To me, Biggie was naturally gifted for what he did. Tupac was a poet. Biggie was a rhyme spitter. It's a difference.
Yeah.
Tupac spoke to your soul. Biggie spoke to the thug in you, the player in you, the baller in you. And that's why I love Biggie. So that's why he makes the list.
I don't have a player in me, Glenn.
Whatever, Mel. The third.
Hey man, historically, it was once said that Tupac was the voice of young black militia.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. So I'm always going to be drawn to that mindset over the ball.
Tupac was incredibly gifted. He was like a poet. He could write about Brenda having a baby, but he could tell you I'm trapped, and then he could tell you to strap up and then ask you how you want it.
He like Snoop out here cooking with Martha, whatever her name is, and still being a thug. So.
Being a thug, exactly. Women loved him, men loved him equally with Tupac, but he's not on my list. So third is Rakim, without a doubt. From the day I heard Paid in Full, it was over for me. And then to actually see him live and see the crowd react to him even after 20 years later, it's amazing. I went to a show in Atlanta, and I'll never forget it. One of the best hip-hop shows I ever went to. Him and Eric B. united. But my fourth one is controversial, but I'll explain why. So I'm putting Dr. Dre on the list, and here's why.
That's fair.
Because if you look at the lineage of Dr. Dre and what he did for the genre, from NWA to the DOC, who was had he not had his accident, would be on this list probably because he was such a good rapper. People forget about the DOC because it was like 30 years ago. DOC was amazing. That first album was one of the best first albums you ever heard.
Formula is still one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. So then from the DOC to Snoop, from Snoop to Eminem, from Eminem to 50, from 50 to Kendrick. So you think about
Don't
that.
forget the game too.
And the game, and the game. So for the last 30 years, Dr. Dre has had his fingerprints on some of the best MCs that we've heard in every generation. So you think about it that way, and changing the culture with like the greatest group, most controversial, arguably the greatest hip hop group ever in WA.
And then taking hip hop and launching it into business ventures.
Right, exactly.
And that's my thing about what you take this thing that nobody thought was going to even survive, and then you branch it out to industries that have nothing to do with it.
Right. And
that's why I like Will, because he came in, he wasn't even dirty. He wasn't even cursing. I'm just saying. Don't let him back in. Don't let him back in. Lock the door.
Did he kick Mel? Did Mel kick himself out? Wow.
Lock the door. Don't let him come back in.
Yeah, so my point was he's hip hop's Quincy Jones. So he's influenced this culture more than anybody. He's contributed to probably 4 or 5 of the 10 best albums in hip hop history. If you think about Straight Outta Compton, you think about The Chronic, you think about Doggy Style, you think about all those.
So well, Doggy Style.
Doggy Style, yeah. So those are my 4. So I'm sure everybody else has their 4. I've been seeing some comments in the chat room. This was a good conversation.
Some interesting choice in the thread. Somebody put Public Enemy in there. Somebody, MC Light. I had heard Outkast in there before somebody dropped Dre. Somebody had dropped Outkast in the thread already.
Yeah.
Hey, man. This is interesting. I didn't have this person on mine, but so does somebody like Baby, get his props? He's responsible for Drake, Wayne. I mean,
know. All that whole Young Money thing.
Doing their thing since 97, 98.
That takes
Nicki Minaj. They still got some of it. Now he's not on my list, but does he get his props here?
No.
He gets props for what he did, but he ain't Mount Rushmore status.
And I gotta be
he's responsible for Lil Wayne, Drake.
That ain't Mount Rushmore though, bro. That's like
since '98, he has been a significant force in this game. Like
he gotta change his name before he get anything from me.
that's like maybe the Lincoln Memorial or something, but he ain't Mount Rushmore.
Lincoln Memorial.
Hey, Mel, he can have a statue outside of United Center, but
I'm more impressed that he landed Tony Braxton, so I don't know.
Right. If you're gonna put Baby up there, then you gotta say Diddy. You gotta say Diddy.
Yeah.
Like give some honorable mentions. Those are
honorable mentions.
Yeah. Honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I mean, for Diddy to the whole Mace loss, and then the Biggie loss, and then to follow it up with Mace. I mean, that was big for me.
I mean, remember Craig Mack first,
right?
Yeah.
Everybody
like every artist Puff had. There's always something.
People forget about Shine because he went to prison, but Shine was tight. That first album he dropped was tight.
I thought it was incredible for Diddy to lose big and then come back as hard as he did with Mace, even though it was short lived. But hey, man, we over time, man. It's 10 minutes after, and production team is smacking us around. So I want to thank you, cats, man. Don't leave after we sign off. Hang out for a hot second backstage with us. But I want to thank you guys, man, for kicking it with us in the cave, man. You guys were awesome. Jay, we already knew what you bring, and Jermaine, you are honestly a really cool addition, man, to the show, and I hope that we get a chance to have you back. And they're throwing you guys websites up right now. And I definitely want to get the correct spelling of licata. You know, I went to school in Chicago, so I need you to cover that for me. I want to make sure I don't misspell it.
licata.com. That's licata with 2 A's.
Got it. I'm definitely gonna support you, man, and be at you, man. So I enjoyed you guys, man. Once more, Mel, welcome back, man, to your rightful place. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to us. This has been The Cave. You guys hang out, Jay and Jermaine. Hang out for
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.